Nigerian, normally the way people think of things in Nigeria is okay, go to school, get a professional degree, get your master's, get married, and start your life. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I decided to shoot outside because I'm obsessed with being outside right now because the weather is just so nice. So forgive me if the sun fluctuates. It's a bit up and down today, but I do not mind, and there may be a bit of like noise just in case you notice that. That's because I am outside. We're outside, guys. It's summer. Anyway, I am in a happy mood. I just had lunch and I've had time to reflect about the year. Oh god, there's lots of rustling around here. I had time to sort of reflect about the year and everything that's happened. If you watched my last video, by the way, about cars, on my car failing MOT, that was actually at the end of March when that happened, when my car failed MOT. If you watch that video, I'm just here to tell you as an update that my car is back. I have my car back. I am so happy. I bought a Smart for 2 car. So I bought from a reputable garage this time that is not like far from where I live, 30 minutes away, so I could drive down. And they took my car to Mercedes. They made some changes and then my car drives better now. Yeah, so I'm glad that's happened. That's gone on fine. So I've got my car back. That's just an update there. And just moving forward, guys, it's summer and it's half of the year. Like, it is half of the year. So guys, in today's video, without wasting any time, I just wanted to give you guys a bit of like share my financial journey with you from the beginning of this year and things that I've sort of done to make my financial goals easier to achieve this year. And I will just run it through from January. So I know right now young people and everyone around just we like to have a good time, we like to travel and all that, but I'm just here to tell you, while you're living that soft life, like, please be thinking of your financial future. Like, soft life is amazing, but your financial future is more important. For me personally, my biggest financial goal is to be able to wake up. I know it sounds cliche, but my biggest financial goal is to be able to wake up and do whatever I want to do. Like, if I'm not happy in a particular job, to be able to move to another job and not be, I know that depends on other factors really, but to be able to move to another job or move to somewhere else that makes me happier. Just having some money saved up or invested makes you kind of have that freedom to change jobs, change professions, stuff like that. So my biggest goal is not to be maybe the richest person on the planet, but to have that financial independence such that I'm happy being where I am, I'm happy doing what I'm doing, I'm happy in my personal relationships, because I know money is a big one that keeps people stuck in maybe relationships, friendships they shouldn't be in. So that's been a big one for me this year. I think if there's any time you should get your finances together, it's definitely in your 20s, especially if you have no kids or you're not in kind of partnership where one person's finances affects the other person's finances. So personally, for me, I just think this is a good time for me, like, to be in, by partnership, by the way, I'm talking about like being legally tied to someone, like being married or that kind of thing. So I just feel for me now, I'm not legally tied to anyone. So yeah, I feel like it's a good time for me to get my stuff together and just be ready for that kind of situation, because I feel like finance is a big one that makes women be in wrong situations as well. Anyway, so I've been trying to get my shit together. I've been trying to get my finances together. That's been a big thing for me this year. If you follow me on Instagram, you'd see that I just finished reading The Psychology of Money, and before that I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I was looking to read like more books this year. Honestly, I was looking to read so many more financial books this year. Books generally. It just happened that I've read financial books by chance, but my real goal was to just read books. But I'm enjoying financial books anyway, especially because many of them, talk about history. So that's a good one for me. And that's helped my knowledge of history as well, especially as it relates to finances. Because with finances, you really want to know mistakes people have made, mistakes that have been made in economies as well, and why things are the way they are, reading about the wars, credit cards, history, all that. Anyway, that is on one side. So now coming back to my personal financial journey, at the beginning of this year, I made it a goal that I want to, save more and, explore my saving options, investment options. And I started saving aggressively. I really cut down on things in my life that were taking my money. For some people, that is accommodation. For some people, that is, eating out, all sorts of things. So for me, I had to do that internal reflection and just, I would say in life, we have to look at our individual situations and see where we can take advantage of certain things. Like, for instance, if you're in a position where you can live with your parents for longer, that helps. If you're in a position where you can pay cheaper rents or whatever, especially in your 20s, when people don't expect too much from you, I think that is absolutely a good idea. So this year I did that introspection, and from January, I started saving aggressively. You might have seen me traveling a lot, but trust me, I am saving. Okay, so I did that. And when you save, especially in a particular cycle, you're able to take advantages of opportunities like ISA. I think when you save up to 4,000, you can get 1,000 free from the government, and also your savings increases at, I think, the interest you accrue on your savings 3.25. So for me, it's been exciting just opening my account and seeing, I gained like maybe 0.37 pounds today. Like, okay, cool. For me, that has been something that just excites me. I know for more sophisticated investors and savers, they don't look into all these things, but personally I do, because it just excites me. On some mornings when I do not exactly feel like going to work, I just look at it and like, okay, I earn a bit. I earn 0.37. It's 0.325. Well, it's one of the two. Just explore ISAs. I use Money Box, and I just go into my account and see, okay, I gained this today, and I just get happier and all that. So anyway, that was Q1 for me. Especially I saved aggressively in Q1, and then that's why I was so downcast and so heartbroken in Q2, quarter two. That was at the end of March when I noticed that, look, my car has failed MOT, and I was like, oh my god, I'm not ready to spend on a new car, because I had like goals to save aggressively this year. So I was quite sad about that. So guys, going forward, I suppose you can understand why in Q2, when my car problem started, I was just like, oh my god, like, this is not what I envisaged I would be going through this year. I was just really sad about it. But that's the thing with life, you need to sort of prepare for unforeseen circumstances, because they would always come up and you would need money. It may be cars, it could be the death of a loved one, god forbid. Different things could come up, so you just need to be always prepared financially. And that was just a big lesson for me. Just to give you a bit of my gist, so I sold my car. I sold it for like about 1/4 of its actual value. No, 1/5 of its actual value. So that's why, again, I tend to say that a car is not an investment. I sold it 1/5 of its actual value, like when I bought it initially. So I was like, oh my god, so what am I going to do with this money now? So I took £100 out of that money, and just to pacify myself, so to speak. And the rest of that money, I put it in the stock market, because I was like, you know what, I lost money from this, I might as well gain in the nearest future from it. And now I think I'm going to make that a habit personally, to whenever I sell a car, whenever I sell anything that is not like, that doesn't appreciate, I think I'll throw it in the stock market. Because then, especially if you're doing index funds, I think a big one is always S&P 500, FTSE, those kind of funds. Especially S&P in particular has a history of increasing 7 to 10%, and 7% with inflation every 10 years or so. Or the average in the last 10 years has been 7 to 10%. But if you're adjusting for inflation, you say 7%, but altogether you say 10%. It's increased by 10%. that is life. I think the best that anyone could get. You've probably heard the story of Warren Buffett um, striking a bet with hedge fund managers. That's normal hedge fund managers that do stocks and all that. So you struck a bet with them, picking investment options versus against the S&P 500, and the S&P 500 beats those hedge fund managers that pick stocks typically. So the S&P 500 beats them. So the S&P 500, I think, is a good way to invest, or index funds generally. It doesn't just have to be the S&P. So S&P Standard and Poor 500. So it's just aggregation of all the grades that I think 500 companies, top 500 companies in the US, and it always changes depending on what the demand is. So at the moment, based on demand and supply, you have companies like Apple, Amazon, etc. And it just makes sense, right? Everyone uses Amazon. Everyone loves Apple. We use iPhone. I'm shooting right now with an iPhone. So, yeah, it's just what it is. So it's constantly changing depending on what the indexes are. So the market generally changes based on demand and supply and what's happening with each company, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I threw that money into the stock market because I was like, you better produce all that money I lost on that car in the next 10 years. Or I don't know if that will happen, but stocks, but doing that is just for the long term. So we'll see what comes out of that. So I threw the rest of that money into the stock market, and yeah. So that's another thing I've been up to. So yeah, second quarter hasn't been particularly great for me because of obviously having to buy a new car and not being able to save as much as I expected, and that's partly the decision fatigue I was talking about. I was just really tired of that big occurrence for me. It is big for me because, like I said, I needed a car for my job. So anyway, I had to deal with that in second quarter, and I didn't particularly like that. So this is what it is, I guess. So anyway, now we are at Q3. I feel like we are at Q3 because it's pretty much the end of June. Some people have probably gotten their salaries already. So, I mean, June has ended already, guys. Like a few days into the second half of the year, the third quarter. We better start getting ready now, taking stock and all that. So in case you're taking stock like I am, and maybe you've realized that you're not doing as good as you plan to be at the beginning of the year, I think a big one for that can help you, especially if you're in your 20s or you're young and you don't have as many bills, because I know saving and investment can be very tricky if you've got more responsibilities and all that. Not like I don't have it. So if you've got more responsibilities, saving and investment can be quite tricky. So I think a good way to save, invest and all that is to be frugal. Most wealthy people that I've met, people that watch a lot, they are quite frugal. The fastest way to financial disaster is spending far more than you save. I'm watching the Real Housewives of Atlanta at the moment. Some people don't understand why I like to watch the Real Housewives, but I love to watch the Real Housewives because it helps me see people's journeys and all that through different stages of life, marriage, divorce, kids, etc. I just saw Kim Zolciak. Have I pronounced her name wrongly? Drop something in the comment section, or I don't know, pronounce it. Send me a voice note on my Instagram. I am at _Ebola_. So Kim from Real Housewives and her husband Croy, guys. Oh gosh, I'm horrible. Anyway, Kim and Croy, it's Croy. Yeah, Kim and Croy. They've been, I think they declared bankrupt or something because they're earning so much. He played for Atlanta, I don't know, All Stars, whatever, NFL. He was a American soccer football player. Am I wrong? Correct me. Anyway, yeah, he was an athlete, earned a lot of money. She earned a lot of money from reality TV, and together they had a show as well. But they've gone bankrupt because they kept spending more than they earned. I think it was in season 4 where Andy was like, Kim, you buy a boat, you're renting a very expensive property as opposed to buying. Are you not spending too much? And she was like, oh, they're well financed, they know what they're doing, blah blah blah. But I mean, it's a recipe for disaster if you keep spending more than you earn. It's nice to live far below your means, don't even try it to keep up with the Joneses or something. Just live your life. Really, most of the time we think people are looking at us, but they aren't. Guys, we need to be smart when it comes to money, okay? Girls, guys, everyone, we need to be smart when it comes to money. I am looking forward to reading more money books. I really enjoy it, actually. To be fair, my dad was a stockbroker, so I think I am interested in things like that because every day in our house he kind of talked about stock markets. So maybe it's from there. Maybe that's where the love has come from. My dad, God rest his soul. Yeah, so if you're someone that does not exactly enjoy even like dealing with money and all that, just know like saving and being frugal is going to help you. Investing in stocks is going to help you. Yeah, another thing I wanted to touch on is generally in life, people tend to say there's a way to go around things, to go around spending and saving and investing. Typically they tell you that by the time you're 25 you should have a house, and then you start building equity from there, and then you buy a house, and then you buy a bigger house later, and you keep building equity from house to house, blah blah blah. But reading the psychology of money, I'm just realizing that, see, no one is crazy. The person that spends $10 million on a wedding and the person that spends $500 and just goes to the registry, no one is crazy. Everyone has their background, and the experiences we've had in life and all that really influences how we would spend money and all that. So that's just life, and everyone's situation is so different. So guys, honestly, when it comes to money, do you with, I don't know, with common sense. Well, definitely do you. Don't let anyone tell you need to do this. Everyone's situation is so different. What if you are, I don't know, different life situations? I don't want to go into specifics, but you may not be in the position where you want to buy a house you want to be a home owner for your own specific reason. Maybe you live in a very expensive city and it's more cost effective to even rent than to buy. Maybe you are planning on moving cities. Maybe you're planning to move. Maybe you travel a lot for work and it doesn't really make sense for you to buy. Just look at your individual circumstances, and no matter what, even when it comes to money, society is good at pushing people to do things. Don't let anyone push you to do anything. Think of your individual circumstance and then decide what's best for you depending on your circumstance. This is one thing that stressed me, especially in second quarter, just constantly thinking about what I'll do in terms of saving, investing. And I've just realized, especially after reading The Psychology of Money, guys, definitely check out that book. I just finished reading it. If you haven't seen the cover, maybe follow me on Instagram. I am at _Ebola_, and then you can see, I will leave my Instagram handle in the comment in the description box, and you can probably see from there, see the books I've been reading, blah blah blah. Anyway, I give good book recommendations. I think I'm going to pick up Atomic Habits next. I've heard so much about that book and I can't wait to dig in. Yeah guys, so definitely don't let society push you to do anything. Do you when it comes to money with common sense. Don't let consumer debt push you to do things. There's a history of most things, and if you don't understand why the world is the way it is, then you may just think you may be acting on a 1930 mentality that maybe your grandparents passed to your parents and then your parents passed to you. So you have to be smart about it when it comes to money. You have to look at the economic situation right now with the US housing crisis and UK housing market crisis. I don't know if it's a good time to buy just now. It may be good in a few months. People are saying the markets are going to crash. We don't really know. Things are a bit uncertain. Some people are saying you're going to have to sell at the moment. Renters are complaining as well. Things are not really going well in the housing market, so I don't know if it's a good time to buy now. Anyway, whatever it is, just make sure you're looking at the economy and your individual situation before you do things, as opposed to just doing things one way. I am Nigerian. Normally, the way people think of things in Nigeria is, okay, go to school, get a professional degree, get your master's, get married, and start your life. That's what people tend to think. But in my mid-20s, I've realized that, your life doesn't have to go that way. That's the same way. Like in the UK, I think the culture is, work and get a partner, buy a house. It doesn't have to be that way for you if that's not what works for you financially. Guys, just do what works for you, really, with common sense. Make informed choices, of course, but don't let society push you to do anything. It's never worth it. Okay, so that is my 2 cents, or those are my 2 cents for today. I hope you gained something and you know a bit more about me now. If you have any questions or whatever, leave a comment in the comment section. I'll definitely answer. I'm a sweet girl. Till next time, see you. Bye. Oh gosh, it's so sunny.